Hello, and welcome to a very early morning episode of Inside the World of Max Headroom. This is kind of a unique videotape because I've been having a couple of really shitty days, and the reason being that I have a couple of really asshole neighbors who are trying to turn my apartment complex into a biopsy of the suburban heroin epidemic. And they've been selling dope out in front of the house, and it's so obvious. It's unbelievable. And I find, and then my management company is doing what they usually do, which is absolutely fucking nothing. And so today, being Saturday, or now it's Sunday, but it was Saturday. People were out in front of the place and selling bags of dope, and it just was driving me crazy. So I decided that I was going to go to bed at 7:30. It's very early for me. And I went to bed, and I was in a bad mood. And interestingly, about, say 40 minutes ago, I woke up after having a dream about having a relationship with a young woman who I had quite a crush on when I was quite a young man, which never really materialized. But in the dream, it started to materialize, and then I woke up. So, as much as I talk about things serving a distractive purpose, well, this dream obviously was serving a distractive purpose because it was getting pretty hot there for a while. And it's one of those dreams where you want to go back to sleep and get back to the dream and you can't. So, as you can see, I got out of bed and I have my Coca-Cola pajamas on, just so you know that I'm for real. And I decided that I was going to make a tape based on another tape I saw early yesterday morning by Wolfstar. And Wolfstar, I'm sorry, I don't know what gender you are, but so I'm going to refer to you in the feminine gender, just in the spirit of the dream that I just had. But you know, I was watching her tape, which was basically just a long I think it was 2 hours or something, of McKamey Manor, but there was a dialogue box in the bottom. And I found myself getting really drawn to what was at the, what the comments were. And as the tape went on, I was getting more and more mortified. And I remember, I think I sent her a message and I said, gee whiz, I am more mortified by the comments of the viewers than I was really of anything that was going on in the tape. It was hideous. I kind of couldn't believe it. So, for all of you that know about my McKamey Manor shtick, I've been trying to circularize the process. I've been trying because I think in order to have a full understanding of any narrative at all, you have to look at every subsystem, okay, every facet of the process in order to have just a fuller understanding. And I've done several tapes now. One was on McKamey Manor and stage hypnosis because I have quite a bit of experience in hypnosis, and I just recognized it as much of it as a stage hypnosis thing. I did another tape on the fact that I thought the McKamey Manor was a cult, and I called that one McCulty Manor. Did another one on some of the payoffs that I thought the sum of the participants are getting out of this, as well as another one on the actors. And I hate that word actor. I think we should all start calling them something else because they're not actors. They're really getting off on this stuff. And so I was watching Wolfstar's tape, and all of a sudden I realized there's all these really crazy comments. And I wrote her a note and I said, wow, I'm really more intrigued almost at this point by the audience than I am, anything going on in the tape. And then when I woke up, I was going to base a tape on Wolfstar's tape. And I thought I had something really original. Like I thought she was just posting, you know, a ridiculous example. And then I went when I woke up this morning and I grabbed, you know, the my little smartphone to reference what was going on. I noticed that the tape was called "Conversations from a Russ McKamey Tour." So obviously, I'm not that original. But what I'd like to do is try to um, provide some verbal commentary on what I saw in those comments. So Wolfstar, I'm not trying to rip your stuff off. I'm giving you full credit. It was very you're very observant in you know how you did this video. Except there was no dialogue. There was no narration. So I want to try to give some narration to it. And please pardon me or give me the literary license to try to interpret it as I see. But it's all positive, Wolfie. So don't worry. Also, I just want to give a little credit to Justice Sleuthing, who I've also dialogued a little bit with, and has also done some really good tapes on, you know, the negative aspects of McKamey Manor. I'm a little tired still. So, I'm going to grab my little cell phone here and start rolling because, you know, as you know, the last two tapes especially that I did, I was focusing on the payoff or what's called the secondary gain, or in therapy, what you call the function of the symptom, that people are getting out of these watching or participating in either as a actor or as a participant, and what function Russ McKamey may serve to distract or detour them from inner problems, also of their own, and getting into this high adrenaline kind of thing just it serves as a momentary distraction, much like drugs, like the gals outside, um, from the misery of one's life. And you know, I also heard a very interesting comment by another tape I watched, which was like a group chat that was led by Josh, the Pooper Trooper, or something like that. But he's been all over, and he made also a very insightful comment. Then he said something like, you know, a lot of us have our own issues that we bring to the manor. And when I heard him say that, I was like, whoa, baby, you know, yeah, you know, this is a guy who I guess has been a big participant in McKamey Manor, and now I guess is kind of a commentarist about it. Um, but you know, he said, you know, we all have brought our own problems to the manor, and that's exactly what I've been saying, both in terms of the contestants and even more so, I think, in terms of the actors. And you know, I got to tell you, I hate you using the word actor in reference to these sadistic idiots. Um, you know, I have a thing about words. For instance, I hate the word people who aren't clinicians throwing around the word narcissism. Narcissism is such a complicated phenomenon that, you know, you just can't say because someone is self-centered or something like that they're narcissistic. I just have this thing about words. Grooming is another one. I hate the use of the word grooming because what people do when they're so-called grooming is really just evil manipulation, and it's too polite a word. So anyway, with that in mind, I really wish we could find another word instead of calling these folks actors. But anyway, there's a new subsystem that Wolfstar's video brought to mind for me, and that is the subsystem of the whole, which we could call the audience. And I wrote her a little note that said something like, you know, oh gosh, you know, I'm more mortified by some of the audience comments than I am the actual process of McKamey Manor, because I don't know, it just seemed like they were a pack of wolves, just like drooling and waiting for shit to happen, and it was really kind of crazy. So I thought that I would do a tape on that in terms of the function that it may serve for the people who are so into this Facebook group, I guess, and into just, you know, watching the gore and guts of all this bullshit. And so when I woke up and I couldn't sleep anymore and I couldn't have the girl that I was dreaming about, I decided I'd go for second best and try to do some commentary on Wolfstar's tape, and which I think is very good. And it's very funny because I thought I had some original. I thought she was just posting something, and it was, just a McKamey Manor thing, highlighting some aspect of it. And I thought it was my wisdom that noticed the pattern in the commenting. However, I then, when I woke up this morning, and it's like, what, 2:15 now. So about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago or so, I went to go back and reference Wolfstar's tape. And I noticed that the name of the tape was something like, the conversations during a McKamey Manor, experience. So I guess I'm not that original. But at least, Wolfstar, you and I are on the same page. So I thought that I would just take the opportunity to include the audience in this quest I have to systemically and in a circular fashion get the greatest understanding that we all can have about the whole of the McKamey Manor. As I've mentioned many, many times, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's one of the biggest systems theory tenets that there's 4 of them, and this is like the big one. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So I keep trying to more circularize this narrative and include as many subsystems of the whole that I can in order to get a greater understanding of what purpose this crazy Mishigas does for everybody, the so-called actors, and the participants, and Russ, and everybody. And now I have a new one, which is the audience. So I just wanted to take a couple minutes and review as best I can. It's not easy to do on a smartphone, but I want to just try to reference some of the comments that were made to try to show that the audience, or this Facebook group that everybody makes reference to, is getting something out of it too. Oh, and I want to mention one other thing. I watched another tape today in my attempt to distract myself from what was going on the street out there. And this was a group chat that was led by Josh the Pooper Trooper, I think his name is. And he made an interesting comment also. It was very brief, but he said something. He was interviewing somebody they call Buster, I think. And he said, something like, look, we all bring to the manor our own problems. We've had problems with abuse, with divorce, with this, with that. And when I heard that, it was like, oh, man, I don't care if I'm not original. Here's another guy who's a participant, and I believe maybe an actor, and I think a friend of the McKamey group. And here he's recognizing that many of the folks that participate in this have some sort of internal problem that this serves a distraction from, through the high adrenaline and testing your mettle and going as far as you can, and actually doing what I mentioned before Alfred Adler was famous for saying, which was that you don't have to be superior to avoid feeling inferior. In other words, that I think the whole McKamey Manor narrative is like what you'd call an overcompensation for feelings of inferiority in many ways. And that's what I think he was kind of saying. He didn't put it in that language. And please, Pooper Trooper, don't, chastise me if I misunderstood what you were saying. But I think that's where you were coming from. So, I think the idea is sort of catching on that this serves a purpose. And it's a paradoxical purpose, because either you torture somebody, or you get tortured, or you enjoy watching somebody get tortured. And that, I believe, serves some kind of distractive purpose. In the sense, I think, in Adler's words, that if you feel inferior in some way, I made a joke about the actors being a little insecure about the package, and in the last tape I made. And this notion of you don't have to be superior to avoid feeling inferior is kind of an idea of Adler's, which says that if you don't feel so good about yourself, one way of compensating for that bad feeling of whatever the experiences were. If you end up not feeling very good about yourself and you feel inferior, one way to kind of distract yourself from the feelings of inferiority are to become superior, bigger than life. And what happens in McKamey Manor altogether is, the actors are these big, powerful, intimidating, obnoxious people. Russ is just a big, fat slob who, makes himself feel big by leaving people around and fucking with their heads and stuff like that. And as I mentioned before, I think some of the participants also have gotten something out of us, as Josh had made reference to by saying we all came to the manor with problems of our own. So in order to more fully round out the picture, I intended on doing this tape based on Wolfstar's very observant, behavior in noticing that the audience, Wolfstar, I hope I'm not misinterpreting you, but it seemed to me like that was your point in this whole tape, especially when I realized what the title of it was. So I want to take this tape and just briefly look through some of the comments just to show you that I think that the audience or the Facebook group or whatever it is of the people that actually now we'll call the viewers subsystem of the whole is how they're seeming to get gratified in some way. Because all you got to do is look at their comments and you can see that, like I said, they're like a hungry group of wolves ready to like just prance on like a mouse. So on with the show, on with the shoe. So, okay, this is a little tough, but I'm going to try it. It started out by just saying, oh, wait a minute, I got to stop this again. It started out by here, you know what, I'm going to go back to the beginning. Fuck it. Okay. It started out with Twilia Cisco, who was the moderator of this tape, and she had laid down some rules. And I just want to show you how, even though the rules were put down, how they were absolutely ignored in the chat as the tape was playing. The rules that she says, just a quick reminder of some of the major rules to the group. No cursing. Oh my God, no cursing. We can just stick our hands down somebody's throat, but you can't curse. Members need to respect each other and no hateful comments. Oh yeah, like the actors are really respecting the participants, and Russ is really respecting everybody that he manipulates and fucks over, right? But in the Facebook group, members need to respect each other and no hateful comments. Then there's another one. No unsolicited, inappropriate messages or pictures to other members. That to me is so funny because everything you watch on a Russ McKamey tape is an inappropriate picture, in my opinion. Jesus, it's a hell of a lot worse than porno. At least porno people are feeling good. No discussing or sharing things from anti-MM groups. Well, that's an interesting phenomenon because, one of the characteristics of a destructive cult is isolation. That nobody's supposed to talk shit about anything that goes on that they disagree with. Scientology is the most famous for that, with the notion of like ratting out your friends if you hear they're talking something negative about Scientology. I forgot what they're called, progress reports or something like that. They chastise people as soon as they step out and say something negative about David Miscavige. Just like it seems like people leave Russ. And then here's another one. We encourage our testants to have fun. Now that too is just got right at the get-go. It's kind of crazy. Have fun watching somebody getting tortured and gasping. And I mean, where is that coming from? I really don't understand it. So with that in mind, now that we know what all the rules are and how they're so stupid, I want to try to just fix through here. In the beginning, they were just, I got to stop this again. In the beginning, they were just talking, like saying, hi, Ross, how are you? Remember me? I want to be famous too. Oh, I want to go through the manor. And they were just like really stupid, like trying to get in with Ross. It was making me sick. And then they started to move on, like, did she think her whining was going to make Russ get soft or something? What the fuck? Of course she's going to whine. You know, that's what this is all about, and that's what all you viewers get off on is watching the whining. But you're saying, you know, like, oh, is she some kind of pussy or something? And is she stalling? And he's being nice for audio purposes? And then somebody else, let's see if we can find some more here, because it gets really bad. She's not going to get it. She had no idea what she was signing up for. She's like Wolf. Huh. I wonder if that's Wolfstar. I really don't know. So maybe you're a guy. I'm not sure. Oh, gosh, I hope I'm not hurting your feelings, Wolfstar. But anyway, let's just move on a little bit and see some of the other crazy comments. She's going to cause him to stroke out, and me. She forgot to put her big girl panties on today. Let's see. Let's go on some more. So childish. Let's see. It's like the wolf. Every 2 seconds, I can't, but I won't quit. Mind over manor, MANOR. This is just like how children. Well, this is even be critical comment. It's just like how parents beat how. Oh no, it's how children beat their parents down. What the fuck is that about? Children beat their parents down? I don't get that at all. Never heard Russ so frustrated. And then they're saying things like this about the participant. So childish. Sorry, Russ. Oh, Russ, I feel so sorry for you, you poor baby. Let's just see if we can find some more here. She said she can do everything else. Like what? Get back in the truck and go home? Ha 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 ha. I mean, listen to how this audience is also, you know, one thing about large group dynamics is that it starts to escalate and feed off each other. So the more comments there are, you know, the more it escalates and gets worse. I mean, I don't want to go on for too long, but, you know, let's see. Hey, everyone can beat the manor. I'm just saying, I'm not going again, but trust me, I can complete it. Oh, that's a real thing. You know, that's a real wise comment. I seen her in a horror group talking about coming to the manor. I don't think she understands how serious this is. Me too. Bragging she's going to win the money. Yeah, right. I'm laughing so hard. We had all this car ride as a kid before. Let's see if I can just find some more here for you. I'm probably not doing such a good job. Let's see. Oh, Russ, I'm so. This is after the girl like bails out. Oh, Russ, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. How frustrating. And then again, sorry, Wolf, McKamey, and then Wolfie's sister. Ugh. Let's see. That was hard to watch. What was hard to watch? I don't get it. You handled better than most of us would have, Russ McKamey. Now that's an interesting comment. Whatever went on, I don't even hardly remember, but you know, they're feeling like they couldn't do it as good as Russ. And yet I think he was really, as I remember, he was pissed off because somebody bailed out. You know, they just didn't do it. You had a lot of patience, Russ. Oh, he deserves a lot of empathy. She looked like Chewbacca doing the walk of shame in her bear suit. Isn't that nice? She got scared. She left. It's supposed to be so voluntary. She just, you know, she walks away, and someone has to wise off and make that stupid comment. Russ, you were too kind. You had more patience than I would have had. Let's see. I can't stand whining. I don't know how you could stand it, Russ. It's like you don't have a choice when you come to the manor. Either you do it or you don't. Not that it's easy, but you do it. Let's see. I bet she cries when she changes her child's poopy diaper. Such a brat. Listen to how bad this is getting. It was hard to watch and listen. I can't imagine what I would have done if I was in your situation, Russ. You did just fine. Oh, let's pat Russ on the back that he didn't get crazy and rape this poor girl, you know? Oh, and everybody's all disappointed that he didn't, probably. Let's see. She's going to be blowing up y'all, begging to go to the morgue before they leave. Let's see. Oh, there's a bunch of bullshit here now, but we appreciate you trying, Russ. I missed Wolf. Is it worth going to watch? I don't know what the hell that means. But oh shoot, I just lost it. Darn it. There we go, I'm back. Let's see. Did she really not make it? By the way, I'm the one who cut your hair today, Russ. I don't know what the hell this means, but I'm just going around through these things. Girl, you quit before you started. Oh, that's really cute. All talk and no action. She just whines and sucks up her lip constantly. Let's see what else we can pull out of here. I'm just doing this at random. Why did she even go there? Grrr. You know, that's what it's all about. Face your fears, girl. I mean, they're just chastising this poor thing. I mean, she decided not to do it, and she probably has better ego strength than any of these fuckers that are watching the show, and yet, you know, they're chastising her. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but what's that about? She doesn't want to quit, but she demands to know every little thing he's about to do, not how it works. She wants her way, and it doesn't work that way. Well, this was such a letdown. Oh my God, listen to these comments. Not trying to be rude, but she seems kind of slow. I watched this tape. This girl had no developmental disability, you fucking asshole. You said you were a tough, you said you were a tough Via girl, but the polygraph says that it is a lie. What the fuck does that mean? This is the Manor, not Burger King, where you can have it your way. Well, that's kind of a cute statement, but it's sick as fuck. She says she's trying, making excuses not to push herself. She should know that she's never going to intentionally, whatever. I almost feel this was planned to a degree. I hope that's not what's up, because he wanted to see more gore. Let's see. I raised 3 kids. This is textbook toddler behavior. I'm going to stop, okay? Because one, I can't seem to control the cell phone too much. But you get the picture, folks. What are these people getting out of making fun of this girl? If anything, this girl has my admiration, that she had the ego strength to be able to say, you know, for whatever reason, I thought I would do this, but you know what? I got here and I got creeped out, and I'm going to split. I mean, you know, what is it about that? Well, you know, it's the same rhetoric I've been talking about the whole time. It's because people who are drawn to the Manor need a distraction to make themselves feel better from some sort of inner turmoil, some kind of distraction. You know, it's kind of like a soap opera back in my day, since I'm a boomer. You know, when they used to, you know, people, they have these, you know, situations where, you know, people would end up in these awful situations over love. Their hearts were broken, and all these housewives would sit at home and cry and wonder, and everybody hated Erica. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but I mean, that's what this is about. It's creating a distraction at somebody else's expense, and it's also pumping up and inflating the perpetrator of the whole thing by feeling sorry for him. What do you got to feel sorry about this jerk for? I mean, it's really incredible. So, you know, I think I've kind of made my point that being in this Facebook group, or I mean, I'd be curious to know how many people are in this Facebook group that actually went to the Manor anyway. But they're all sitting back criticizing this poor lady, poor young woman, because she decided to bail. You know, I don't even want to use the word bail. She had the common sense to leave. You know. It's really gross. And again, I want to go back and say, you know, are all these people trying to act superior to avoid feeling inferior via their comments? Because they're really shitty, hateful comments. Why isn't somebody feeling sorry for this girl just because she like made a long trip out there and you know, like I said, I think she had the sense to leave. But they're all disappointed because they don't get to see her scream and cry and watch her eyeballs all dilated under lights. That one fascinates me, and I don't want to get too into it because if you can read my lips, you can understand what I'm talking about. But you know, pupils don't dilate under high intensity light; they constrict. You know, read my lips, okay? Um, and so here again, boy, I'm talking for a half hour. Here again, just to try to make the whole broader, we have another subsystem of people who are in need of a distraction, and at this time, again, at somebody's expense. Isn't that interesting how the McKamey Manor works? It's always gratifying yourself and distracting yourself from some sort of inner turmoil at somebody else's expense. Even the person who's at the expense is getting some kind of distractive thing from this. Otherwise, nobody would put themselves through this kind of bullshit. Um, you know, it's late. I'm not really tired. I'll probably be up the rest of the night. But I hope I made my point. The whole's greater than the sum of its parts. Russ McKamey's McCulty Manor is nothing more than a destructive cult with primarily 4 subsystems. One being the use of deceptive practices, another subsystem being cult-like behavior and isolation from the outside world, another being that there's a distraction for the contestants because who else would put themselves through this kind of bullshit? You know, you could always go into weightlifting or even shooting guns. I said before, I was a big gun freak for a while. That's a hell of a scary experience. You want to really face some fear? Pick up a 454 Casull, which is used to like kill wild boar and stuff. It's more powerful than a 44 Magnum. And go to the shooting range and blast it off. Watch this giant muzzle flash go off, and watch everybody in the shooting range jump. Okay, if you feel inferior and you want to feel superior, have the biggest gun in the range and scare the shit out of everybody else, including yourself. But why do you have to hurt somebody or hurt yourself or hurt somebody's feelings by making these stupid ass comments uh, just to get yourself off and distracted and detoured from some of your own fucking problems? I'm sorry, but as you see, these tapes get more emotional as I go on. And I guess that's it. Thank you, Wolfstar, for providing the tape. It was a very wise observation you made. I didn't catch on until just this morning about what the nature of the tape was really supposed to be about. So kudos to you. Kudos to Justice Sleuthing, who somehow I think you guys are in cahoots or something, but I love you both. Josh, thank you for your candidness in the comment that you made about, you know, that we all kind of bring our own problems to the manor. That certainly supported my hypothesis, because, you know, when you make a hypothesis, you always wonder, are you right or not? But to see a guy who was really involved in this make this very candid comment, I also appreciate it. And I guess that's about it. So with that in mind, thank you for being with me on another episode of Inside the World of Max Headroom. Good morning.